Hello, my name is Etienne and I'm from Cape Town, aka the outpost on the coast, South Africa, and I run Tabletop Nights, which is a board gaming blog, and we also do occasional board gaming and miniature wargaming events. Next to me is...
I'm Stephen, I'm from Sword and Board. I run a little miniature shop, web-based front. Also very big into my miniature war games and anything Star Wars, and this is definitely right up our alley.
Yeah.
So Etienne,
Dude, we've been waiting months for this game to get here. It is finally here, and it feels like, I don't know, I can't describe how long I've been waiting to play this, so let's get into this thing. You want the knife? Take the knife.
Let's go
Take
for it.
Let's
go for
cool.
it.
Cool, so now that the plastic's actually off, we can start looking at what's inside this box, and I can't wait to see what's in this box. It's got that new plastic smell. Actually, it smells a bit like 1,500 Rand, because that's what the game retails for. Yeah. But, Stephen, what do you think?
By all means, let's open the box and let's go have a look.
Alright,
so inside this big boy, take off the cover, and we are presented with the rule set. At the back of the rule set, it looks like we've got a bunch of tokens.
Yeah, crapload. That's going to take some punching power to get all that stuff out, but it's a labor of love, as is the case with these kind of games. We've got some cards, which obviously, if you look at it, that side, that must be the upgrade cards.
This looks kind of like the upgrade cards from X-Wing. Yeah. Yes, you're definitely right.
This is actually the ship cards. So as you can see over here, I've got the squadron cards here, and it, man, it smells good. Most games do smell good when you open up the first time.
Yeah, over here, it looks like we've got some damage cards, definitely taking back themes from X-Wing over there.
There we go.
We've also got what looks like crew upgrade cards.
Yeah, I think as the game's going to kind of, get into the more of a competitive scene, you're going to start seeing a lot more of that vibe from X-Wing come across. I think that's probably one of the biggest things that appeals to this whole genre for me. It's just there's so much... that they can add to it down the line, especially with the bigger ships coming in now.
Yeah, it makes sense that they were tied to X-Wing, because X-Wing is what's actually really grown the Star Wars, especially in the miniature sort of side of business. So I can see where they would want to do that.
All right, so we've got a lot of plastic tokens. So this does look, it might take you a bit of time to actually set everything up, eh? What do you think?
Once again, labor of love.
Labor of love, labor of love.
Okay, on this side, it looks like we've got some different types of dice.
Okay. Don't lose those black things, because that, you're going to have problems if you're missing on those. Because those these clip into the actual...
The movement dice.
There we go.
There we go, yeah.
But I see what you mean. 3 different colors.
3 different colors.
All right. If I can remember correctly, don't they use these dice for when you're firing at different ranges? So the different ranges will have different color dice.
Exactly. Yes. Okay. Unlike X-Wing, Armada doesn't have any defense dice. Your ships do not defend.
That is true, because you've got those actions now that you can play, which is those defense.
Okay,
but we'll probably get into that a little bit later. Indeed. Yeah. More stuff. I'm going to start stripping this stuff here, man.
Okay, it looks like we've got some bases for some of the bigger ships.
Ooh. Much bigger cards. And yeah, as you can see, that's the Corvette right there. Cool. And the models. I've actually got the models here, man. This
is the cream of the cake.
Well, this is the meat and potatoes right here. Well, it's yours. I shouldn't actually be doing it.
Well, let's go for it.
You take the lid, I'll take the bottom. Go. And it's out. Oh, man. The detail, first of all, and you'll probably agree that the sexier of the two ships must be this guy over here.
Oh, definitely. Definitely the Destroyer. That's my ship of preference.
Although the Nebulon doesn't look too bad. Yeah. And then, funny enough, you've got the Corvette here, the CR90, which... A lot of people that play X-Wing that actually have that big ship will kind of find it funny if you look at the actual scale.
Yeah, because it's tiny.
But you can have a look at the quality there. Once again, Fantasy Flight is just unbelievable with the detail they put into these models. And I stand to be corrected, but I believe these guys are press painted, or how do they do it?
Stamp painted.
Stamp painted. There we go. Yeah. That is awesome. But man, the detail is exquisite. I can already see guys that are playing Empire will immediately slot into Empire in this game.
Exactly. No Fantasy Flight is definitely up the game as far as what the standards of the models are. It's really, compared to the first X-Wing starter set that we saw came out, with the TIEs and the X-Wings, this is definitely a step up.
I agree. And what you might have to do, and this is something that we'd advise any and all viewers to maybe look at doing, is like me and him both, we each got a core. And we are going to combine those two cores together to give us what I would say an optimal gaming experience. So yeah, definitely I think it's maybe advisable, although the price tag is sitting at 1.5, which makes it it's a hard hit on the wallet, man.
It definitely is, but it's a different scale of game, because Unlike X-Wing, where you sit on a 4x4 foot table, this one is sitting on a much larger table.
3x3. I think that when I read the rules online, it's 3x3.
It's a 3x3.
Yeah, that's the starting game.
Yeah, on that starting game. Yeah, this one actually doubles that play size.
That's huge, eh?
Yeah,
that's massive.
It's because movement in this game, unlike X-Wing, where you had your ships, which was very crucial how your ships moved.
Yes.
Over here, your ships are much bigger. It's a much bigger scale of battle. So you actually outflanking and stuff plays a big part of this game.
It does, and I think the element also when you start bringing the squadrons in, I think the squadrons is kind of that element that a lot of people look at the actual miniatures, like the ships, and think that's what it's about. But there's also squadrons, and we still got to assemble them, which I think we probably need to start doing now.
Yeah, let's get to that.
So we're gonna fast forward it because you guys don't want to watch us put the stuff together.
Cool.
Let's get to it. All right, so we've managed to pack everything out on the table. We've left a couple of odds and ends in the box, which I don't think we need to go into too much detail right now. But it was a hell of a build, eh?
Yes, was it? There's so many little pieces into this game.
It's crazy. So actually seeing everything you get in the box, it still amazes me every time Fantasy Flight actually brings out a core set, and the amount of content you get for the money you're paying, it's actually genuinely worth it. I truly think so. I mean, it's amazing. The quality on the cards, the quality on the models, everything just feels sturdy.
I think that's just it. I mean, if you purchase a game from Fantasy Flight, you're definitely getting something that's quality, something that's been well thought of. It's well designed games, and this is just another way to prove it.
That's it.
So should we go?
Cool. Let's start from my side and we'll bounce it around. I think the most important thing that this game brings in for a lot of people that know X-Wing really well is going to be the command system that it's got built in, and you get these dials that were quite cool and quick and easy to assemble. And these dials, pretty much, as you can see here, have 4 different actions that you can use. But I mean, we'll get into that a little bit later on. And these actually do stack. So some of your biggest ships, for instance, like your destroyers, will stack 3 of them on top of like that. So then you can basically pull the different commands from it. The other thing is the speed dials, which, each ship that you bring in will have one of these for each ship, So this will determine the speed that your ship will travel at, which also affects the way that the game actually plays. And it's quite different.
Indeed, because one thing this game actually concentrates on is a massive ship moving through space. It's carrying a bit of inertia. You can't just decide to slow down to speed 1 or speed up. It's actually a special movement that you can need to do with your ship. So in other words,
to bring it down.
If you're flying around at speed 3 and you haven't selected a movement or a secret thing as a movement, you're flying at speed 3,
and you got to maintain that, because now another turn you've maybe planned wrong, because that's a big thing. A lot of people don't realize that you stack your commands. So if I go and I do like let's do a maneuver, and I change it and I stack another one after that, that's it. You can't take back those commands, and that's where there's like a long-term investment in the commands that you use, and that's the biggest thing for me about this game. It's not as action-packed and quick as X-Wing, but there's you have to think ahead in this game.
Indeed.
So we covered the dials.
Let's get into the ships.
Yes,
that's what everybody's waiting for.
Yes,
let's get into the ships.
All right. So first off, we'll start with the Corvette. First of all, there's different options on it. And if you want to have a look at that, that's one of the cards that you get with the actual core set. The Corvette itself is also known in the X-Wing as an X-Wing expansion, as a Tantive expansion. And this ship, actually, if you compare it to what it looks like in X-Wing, it looks small compared to the Destroyer.
It's minute.
But I mean, it doesn't lack the amount of shields and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, when you look at these models, there's 4 sides, and when you're firing at the models, there's different angles you can hit it on, and it also has shield levels. So the Destroyer definitely has a lot more stats in that regard. And I mean, if I look at the front firing capabilities, just by looking at the amount of dice this thing can roll, you got to start of its way.
So you mean actually having sides and aft and a forward section on a ship makes a difference?
It makes a difference now, man. Like, this I can shoot out of his pooper if he wants to, but I mean, it's only going to roll 1 dice, where if I want to shoot from the front, I got an option of rolling 3 dice. So you want to fire from the front, except with the Nebulon. The Nebulon is a bit more, I can fire 3 from the front and then 2 from the side. So
So basically what you're telling me is I really need to concentrate on one side of a ship, destroy the shields on that ship before I can even start taking damage
Yeah,
that ship.
but that's where these defensive actions come in, because you can actually bounce that around. There are certain abilities that some of the ships have that you can actually divert energy from one part of the area where it's being hit to another part adjacent, eh?
Yeah.
So that makes a difference.
Wow, that makes a big difference, because I mean, you know, from the X-wing experience, you take a hit, your ship goes down. You know, over here it seems like you could actually turn your ship to avoid taking damage on certain parts.
You can,
or bring your front to bear with high heavy firepower. It seems like it's going to be quite a different strategy altogether.
What I like about this also is that when you set it up, and then while we were building, we both kind of pointed this out, was that you can actually turn the dials over here. These dials actually will give you your shield value. So like, for instance, on this, the board here, it says it's got 3 shield. I can then set it to 3 shield. So as I'm getting hit from whichever side, I can then change the amount of shield I have available on it, which is great, because now you can keep track of where you're taking hits.
That's nifty.
But let's move on to the squadrons. Okay, not to take too much heat off the big ships, although they are very sexy. We're going to have to look at these guys too, because I think this is going to impact the game a lot too.
Yeah, the squadrons actually play a vital role in the game, in the fact that you actually need to defend your big capital ships from other enemy squadron fighters. And the way you do that is by using your squadrons and intercepting squadrons. What I really like about this is that they've given you squadron cards. Now, this is the X-Wing squadron card. All right. Now, what's really cool about it is that it brings back a lot of familiarity from X-Wing, because now all of a sudden I've got my X-Wing. Here it is. Yeah. And to further boost to that point, here we've got Luke Skywalker. Yeah. A very famous pilot from the X-Wing.
Yeah, so he could essentially be leading one of your squadrons.
Correct.
That's pretty much what it comes down to. Yeah.
And what I like about that is they haven't just stopped over there at the Rebels. I mean, who wants to play Rebels? I mean, come on, Imperial all the way.
Now you're going on to not cool, dude. Not cool.
We've got the TIE fighter over here, the lonely TIE fighter. He's still there, but then look who makes her appearance.
Hull Runner.
Good old Hull Runner. Yeah. Hull Runner's back here. So this to me,
I like it.
I really like it, because now, if you're into X-Wing, and you were very worried about Armada coming out and what's it going to do to the X-Wing territory and stuff like that. I think it's clear to say that they have bridged it. There is definitely similarities between it, but the whole gaming system, I mean, just by looking at the forward and the aft sections of the shields, it's changed completely.
It is.
How does the movement work?
Well, the movement, and this is where the cool ruler comes in, it bends. That's really cool. Okay, no, I'm just joking. It's a huge impact on the game, because a lot of people playing X-Wing, as an example, would be used to their normal template movements as they place it out, and that's kind of
that's the whole game.
The gist of it. With Armada, it's completely different. This is probably the biggest thing for me, is that if you look at your ship's dial over here, now when I say dial, I actually mean the movement sheet area over here. Now this corresponds to what your speed is moving at. So let's say in my turn, sorry, I'm going to just get that up here. I've decided to move, let's go with 3, okay? So there's my speed of my ship. I can then look at the corresponding tab, and there's 3. And what this does is, on this ruler, it will allow me to actually click. So when it's got like a little flat line like that, it means I don't click it on the first section of the ruler. If it's got one little mark like that, it means I can click it once on the second part of the ruler. And then on the third section, it's got 2 little stripies there. That means I can click it twice then, which is crazy, because now when I'm actually, obviously I can't click it in the first section, but let's say I click it once on that section, that's 1 there, and then on my second one I can click it over here, go 1, 2. I mean, if you put that down next to the model, that already gives it a very weird flight path. So
it's kind of like plotting a point for a ship.
Exactly.
It's very similar to that.
It's crazy. I mean, I really dig it. And, with the bigger ships, you're not going to have as much movement as the smaller ships have. Yeah. So you can go a lot faster and do a lot more with maneuverability than with the bigger ships, which is great, because that actually adds a much bigger element to how the ships actually move around the table.
And then going to the smaller ships move with a very different sort of mechanic. They don't obviously use the plot finder at all or something like that. What they've done is they've said, okay, on your card, your speed movement, for instance, on something like this would be 4 inches or 4 your movement. You have a look at the back over here, you can see your number 2 is 4. So basically what happens then is, if your turn to activate your fighter or your squadron, the first thing you'll do is you'll pick the model up, and you can change this little dial over here.
That is sweet.
Which basically indicates if you've used the model or not. Especially if you've got a game like Armada, for instance. This is just a core set. We're already sitting here with 6 and 4. So you can imagine in bigger games you're going to have a lot more force. So then now you can actually track what you've activated or not.
Not just that, what you need to point out to the viewers is the fact that when you get hit, there's also got a nifty little pointer there that actually will, as you're getting knocked, you can change the amount of ships or hull points, as they call it, that you have. So then while you're taking damage, you can actually keep track of it. It's awesome.
And the movement, unlike X-Wing for the squadrons, you basically get to choose where you want to move anywhere to your speed. Straight. So that's really cool. If you need to fly around a capital ship or whatever, you don't have to predetermine it. You can just say, well, I'm moving up to 4 inches, my movement speed, I'll move over there. Which is great because it adds another aspect into the game where it's saying, look, it's not a dogfighting game, it's a tactical game. It's where you put your ships, where you can draw the most firepower, and which sides of your ships that you actually have.
I mean, these squadrons will be great to intercept other squadrons, to screen your bigger ships as they're moving into firing lanes and stuff like that. So there's a lot of elements coming in, especially with future expansions, with the different kinds of other squadrons you can bring in. And that, I think, a lot of the people that are playing X-Wing will kind of be like, hey, I know those ships, you know. So
I believe that even the capital ships can actually take command of some of the squadrons and fly them around before it's actually their turn, which is incredible.
Cool. But let's jump on. So we've had a look at that. Then we've got the tokens here. Now these tokens are your defense tokens, which probably we'll go into detail a little bit later when we look at the rest of the stuff, you know. And then I think the dice we've already had a look at. So we've already discussed the fact that on the ruler itself, you can actually see here, this is where the firing comes from. So if you're firing from the base of the ship, which will start at this part of the ruler, you can fire those 3 colored dice. At medium range, it's only those 2, and then at long, it's only red. So this is where the different colored dice come into play.
Okay. So basically, you're saying if I'm now shooting somebody at long range and I've got this big capital ship over here, I'm firing at range 3. I can see over there that I can fire 3 red dice and 3 blue dice. But if it's at range 3, I'm only going to get 2.
Only that, yes.
Okay, that's a cool mechanic.
That's pretty cool. That is, I love the fact that they've put so much thought into actually firing the big guns. And also I read up that when you're firing at squadrons, if that particular squadron or squadrons are in the firing arc, you can fire on all of them. It's like a barrage of fire going towards the fighters coming towards your bigger ships.
But obviously just in your
range. Within your range. Within your range.
Okay.
Then we've got this token, which is cool. It's heads or tails if you want to use it for that purpose. But actually, the thing is, this changes the initiative on the turns, if I'm not mistaken. So each turn will flip around. It will either be blue or it will either be red, and this will change.
It's basically showing your squadrons what the initiative is, and it will match the color according to which one's been activated and which one hasn't.
Then we got the damage cards, which a la X-Wing is normal damage will be like that, and face-up damage will be critical hits, which can happen in this game. So that's another element they pulled in from X-Wing, which I think worked phenomenally well. So good up. That's awesome to have this in here because it also feels familiar. It will make people feel comfortable. You know, when they start with the game, they know how the damage dealing works. So that's a big element to it. And I think that's pretty much all the major components. One thing I do have to point out, and that's probably the coolest things for me, is the fact that this game is played on a table, as we've discussed. But the thing is, when you're playing against each other, it's either you eliminate each other, so you destroy all the ships, or you only play 6 rounds. 6 rounds. That's 6 turns that you get to play the game in.
What they've done is they've also thrown in another mechanic. That is the basic cores. But they've also included secret objective cards. Which now actually during your list building phase, you actually get to choose which cards you need to pick 2 of each for basically. And your opponent then will decide which 2 he wants. And your opponent can score additional points against you for having your ships and vice versa. So in other words, you can make it more objective based. One of the cards is basically to get the most ships across into the enemy's half.
So it's objective. But that's really that spices it up because kind of X-Wing had it with certain missions you got with obviously the core and also some of the expansions. But this has a total different element.
Another thing which they've done as well, which was also mentioned in the rulebook, but much later on, though, is that when you're busy building your fleet, you need to select, kind of like in 40k, you need to select a commander. So you would actually have one of your ships, one of your capital ships, as your commanding ship.
Okay.
That also makes quite a big difference for gameplay, because obviously you don't want to select a poor ship. But
that will probably come in hectically when you do the competitive play of things. I think that's gonna be awesome.
That's it.
But I mean, we don't want to like bore the people any further.
I think that's into a nutshell.
Well, yeah, that's all the stuff out of the box. So guys, thank you so much for watching this unboxing with us. We aim to do a lot more of these kind of videos. So yeah, thank you, Stephen. It was awesome to have you here and to chat about this game, which I think we're going to play the crap out of.
Hopefully we'll get 1 or 2 battle reps in the future in as well. So
we will.
Stay tuned.
We will. Yeah. We probably missed a couple small things, I suppose. But I mean, this is what you're getting out of the core, guys. And it's a fantastic game. I can't wait to get into this now. We're probably going to be playing you. I'm Empire, by the way. I'm playing.
No, you're not.
No, wait a minute. Dude, seriously.
I'm evil, okay? I'm the dark side.
Okay, alright, I'll be rebels.
Okay,
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, man.